He hadn't spoken to his father in 17 years, not since the fight. But after the funeral, he opened his father's old toolbox, and hidden beneath the rusted wrenches was a single key, one that unlocked everything he thought he knew. Ethan hadn't stepped foot in his childhood home in nearly 2 decades. Not since that night at 17 when he slammed the door and said he was never coming back. His father, Jack, had been strict, hard, a man of rules and few words, a mechanic by trade and a perfectionist by nature. Growing up, Ethan always felt small around him. Nothing he did was good enough, not his grades, not his friends. Especially not his dream of becoming an artist. They had their last fight over a sketchbook. Jack ripped it in half, said art wouldn't pay rent. Ethan packed a bag and left that night, never called, never wrote, and Jack never came after him. 17 years later, Ethan got the call from a neighbor. Your dad passed. Heart failure. He didn't have much, but he left the house to you. Ethan didn't cry. He didn't know how, just took a bus home and stood in front of a house that hadn't changed. The yard was overgrown. The porch light still worked. Inside smelled like oil and dust. He wandered the rooms like a ghost, memories haunting every corner. Then he walked into the garage, his father's kingdom. Tools lined the wall, perfectly organized. And there it was, the old red metal toolbox, his father's most prized possession. Ethan opened the box expecting sockets and screwdrivers, but beneath the tools, something strange, a small envelope taped to the bottom. Inside was a single brass key, worn and scratched, and a note in his father's handwriting. If you're reading this, then you came home. Good, go to the attic. Ethan blinked. The attic had always been locked. Jack said it was just storage, off limits. He went upstairs, heart pounding, unlocked the door, and stepped into a room he never knew existed. But what he saw made his knees buckle. The attic wasn't dusty, it was clean, preserved, lit by a small skylight and lined with easels. Canvases were stacked against the walls, some unfinished, some beautiful, all signed J.W. There were paintings of landscapes, machinery, old cars, and one half-finished of a boy with a sketchbook. Ethan's mouth went dry. He flipped through a folder on the desk, dozens of pages, his childhood drawings taped together, reconstructed. And a note. I didn't know how to say it, but I was proud. I was always proud. Tears blurred his vision. For 17 years he thought his father had hated his art. But here it was, cherished, preserved, unfinished like their story. In the corner of the room was a shoebox. Inside were envelopes, each one addressed to Ethan, dated, one for every birthday, from 18 to 34. His father had written him a letter every year. Letters never sent, some were awkward, some apologetic. Some just said, "I miss you, kid." In one of the final letters, Jack wrote, I never knew how to say I was wrong. I only knew how to work. But I kept painting because it reminded me of you. Ethan sat on the attic floor sobbing. not because of the pain, but because of the love buried under all that silence. Ethan moved back into the house, left the garage alone, but turned the attic into a studio. He finished the painting of the boy with the sketchbook, this time smiling. He held an exhibit 3 months later, titled it, "The Man Who Couldn't Say It." One wall was filled with his father's paintings, another with the letters. The last canvas, a portrait of his father holding a paintbrush. Because some people love loudly, and some love in silence, in screwdrivers and torn sketchbooks and locked attics. If this story touched you, share it. Someone out there may still be waiting for a key, to unlock the love they never knew they had.